guy walks in with a suit and some slacks and just sits down and he starts talking to me, and I'm like asking him questions about NASCAR. I'm like, man, what is he doing right here? What's going on right here? You know, why is all the cars stopping? What's the yellow flag? What's this? So that goes on for about an hour. I know they said it was COVID. Like, why is this guy up here? You know, so I'm still sitting up there. So he's like, oh, you know, I got to get going. Got to go do some things. By the way, I'm Steve Phelps. I'm the president of NASCAR.
Oh, he's kind of important.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're on the phone. What a race! California's Kevin Harvick does it. Tree making right there. You're the man.
Welcome to Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, presented by NASCAR and Fox. I'll get that straight eventually. I haven't done that enough, but I'm Kevin Harvick. He's Alvin Kamara, Kaitlyn, Vincie, Mamba Smith. Thanks for joining us today. We're experiencing this interview together for the first time. Yeah. So usually I've done these by myself, and today we're including everybody so that we can make a team effort towards this. So that's a good thing. Yeah. So we're just going to get started right off the bat. I just want to know, how did you become interested in NASCAR, your love for racing? Mm-hmm. And here we are a few years into your relationship with NASCAR, but racing in general, is that something that you've liked your whole life?
No, I wouldn't say I liked racing necessarily my whole life. I think every kid grows up, you know, you kind of have a little bit of interest in cars or whatever, but my NASCAR / racing interest journey started like during the pandemic. Right. So, you know, nobody's doing anything. Everything's closed. You can't really go anywhere. Everybody's just inside trying to find the next bright idea or, you know, catching up on tens of thousands of shows. So I'm sitting in my house one day and I'm flipping through the channels, bored, same old stuff on, and then NASCAR's on. So I'm like, you know, you always see it. So, but you know, I never just sat there and stayed on it. I never dialed in. So I'm like, all right, let me dial in real quick. I keep it on. So I'm like, all right, I'm watching, and I'm like, okay, this is a little bit more than just left turns. You know, like they talking about pit strategy and, you know, fuel and, like, you know, they go to the windshield view and then they go to the comms with the spotters talking and everybody, crew chief talk, and I'm like, oh, this is real, like this is super intricate. And with me being in the field that I'm in football, like everything is so detailed. So I didn't know, I thought it was just driving. Like I'm like, I get my car every day and drive too. So but I'm thinking it's just driving, and come to find out there's so many working parts to it. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So like I said, I'm down in Miami at home watching. So I kind of reached the NASCAR and I'm like, yo, this is cool. Like, man, it's like, you got a fan in me. And then, you know, reach back out, like, thanks, Alvin, for watching. They sent me some gear. And then, you know, I'm like, let me take this a little step further. I'm like, I want to come to a race. So just so happened that the race was in Homestead coming that week. Right. So, they're like, you know, it's COVID. So I'm like, yeah, I want to come. And they're like, all right, let's see what we can do. And they end up allowing me to come. So they put me in the suite. I think it was like 2,500 vets there. So the stands were empty. So that was my first NASCAR experience. Nothing, like just the cars, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the suite. So I'm just sitting up there by myself, and a guy walks in with a suit and some slacks and just sits down and he starts talking to me, and I'm like asking him questions about NASCAR. I'm like, man, what is he doing right here? What's going on right here? You know, why is all the cars stopping? What's the yellow flag? What's this? So that goes on for about an hour, and I'm just engaging with this guy, and I'm like, man, who is this? Like, I know they said it was COVID. Like, why is this guy up here? You know, so then I'm like, you know, I'm still sitting up there. So he's like, oh, you know, I got to get going. Got to go do some things. By the way, I'm Steve Phelps. I'm the president of NASCAR.
Oh, he's kind of important.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm like, what? You know, and like in my head, I'm not thinking like just not being involved or
right.
I guess interested prior to this in this sport. Like I'm not thinking that, you know, Steve Phelps, and who now I have a great relationship with, will be that cool. Like the president of NASCAR. You know, I mean, obviously in our community, it's not, nobody's looking at NASCAR like, oh, that's somewhere where it's a comfortable space, or that's where a lot of us are. But, you know, from then till now, it's like, man, this is a great space to be in, you know?
So you became the first ever growth and engagement advisor for NASCAR. So what does that mean? Like, what all are you doing? What's your role?
Yeah, I mean, that is a journey in itself. You know, there's so many aspects and so many cool things that I get to do, and that definitely it's definitely interesting. So growth and engagement, I think the way I sum it up is, you know, finding ways to engage a new audience, bringing new eyes to NASCAR. I think just bringing kind of a new feel to NASCAR, right? I think there's a lot of things that in 4 years since I've been here that have been going on that, you know, haven't been done before, with speed season and you know, they got Daniel's Amigos and all these Bubba's Block Party and, you know, all these other things. I mean, I collabed and created a merch line with NASCAR. Yeah. There we go. You got a pan.
He loves free stuff.
I know. I knew Mamba was one of those. But nah, I mean, there's just so much going on. There's so much opportunity for growth, and I mean, that's kind of hence the title, growth and engagement. So just been, you know, trying to learn. I mean, me and Mamba talk also. Mamba, we talk, and just trying to take the sport to new spaces. And I'm happy to be a part of it because I'm growing while learning, while I guess just kind of being a part of, like I said, it's a lot of history going on, things that haven't been done before that are catching new eyes. So that's kind of the job.
We just came back from Chicago, and we were on the same flight together.
Yep.
So the vibes, I felt the vibes were high out there. And that, I think that falls right into your role with NASCAR and observing that and how we're building that. What was your take for Chicago? I felt like it's a big community event out there.
Yeah, since it's over now and the race is done, and you know, we don't have to go to a second day and not the rain.
The rain.
The rain. 2 years in a row. But outside of the rain, beautiful weekend, beautiful events. Bubba's Block Party was crazy. I mean, we had Twister performing. You know what I'm saying? Like I know when I got there, I was talking to Erica, and she was like, "Man, when we opened the doors, everybody just rushed into the park. Like people were trying to get in there at all costs, you know." So I mean, it was a great turnout at Bubba's Block Party, and then, you know, just everything, the layout of how that street race is set up. Yep. I mean, it's amazing that they turned downtown into the whole track. Right, you know, you see that, you look out the window at your hotel and you looking down, you like, man, they about to race right now. You know what I'm saying? It's super cool. So I mean, the weekend was, I mean, it was beautiful. I think a lot of support out there. I mean, the mayor's out there in the fire suit, like it's crazy, but I mean, it's dope to experience.
So you've been to a lot of different racetracks at this particular point. What is your favorite track that you've been to outside of Chicago? Because I'm with you, and we talked about this earlier on the show. The race itself at Chicago is over the top. It's amazing to see the city. It's ingrained in the city. The city is behind it. The fans show up. Yeah. But outside of that event, what do you think your favorite event that you've gone to outside of that has been?
I think it's gonna be a curveball for y'all to hear me say this.
Oh, I love a curveball.
We're used to that.
Yeah, on this show.
Yeah,
I loved Dover.
Yeah.
Oh, Monster Mile.
Yeah, what part of Dover did you love? Because that is
I just felt like it, to me, and all I have to go off is what I know, right? It just felt like I'm from Atlanta, so it just felt like a South Georgia high school football game where they kind of like shut the city down and everybody go on to the game, like signs at the front of these businesses, and it's like that's what's going on. I feel like even like the stands and everything, it just felt like it gave that kind of feel like this is what's going on here. This is what we have. Nothing else matters. Yeah. And then I kind of
imagine
got that
Dover 10, 15 years ago would get 140,000 people around it. Yeah. You know, they've taken a lot of those grandstands out, but Dover is just one of those places where you can feel the speed, you can see the speed, and it's just it's a very confined environment that allows you to be a part of the event, and it's just I like Dover.
So, I do too.
Yeah. I like it.
Good choice in that. That wasn't a total curveball.
I feel like it was. When I tell people that, they're like, "What, Dover?" I'm like, "Yeah."
The area around Dover is a little different.
It is.
because it is like it's just parking lot, like it's like a Home Depot in front of it, like the casino's there.
Yeah, the casino.
So the camping part is a little different than on all the other racetracks, like they're literally in a paved
But I think that's probably why it feels so good, because it's like we're racing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
That's why
That's all there is, right?
Yeah, so I love it.
Now, did you go out and take a picture with you went this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you go take a picture with the big duck?
Oh, the
The
duck.
big duck, the big yellow duck. No, I didn't actually, but I was walking around and you can see it from everywhere, and I'm like, "There's the duck." There's
Clint
the
was
duck.
so
We gave Clint
fascinated
so much
with that
grief.
duck.
Clint
Yeah.
Boyer hated the duck. He was totally against. He could not understand anything about the duck. And so anytime that we get to get a Boyer dig in, we're there. We're down
there
for that.
Boyer
Got
digs. Okay, so that's your favorite track experience. Who are the drivers that you've really like bonded with or had good relationships with since you've come into the sport?
So obviously Bubba, Denny, cool guy. You know, he's fiery. When I first came in, I wasn't really paying it as much attention to the racing as I was the personalities, because I feel like you kind of, I don't know.
Yeah,
now
connect with somebody.
Yeah. So I was big on Joey, because Joey, I feel like he was just like, he didn't care.
Yeah,
like,
he does not care.
He was just fighting. Yeah, he like, I don't care what cars by me, next to me, in front of me. I don't care what you trying to do. I'm trying to win, and that's it. Like, so I always got a little love for Joey. You know what I'm saying?
22.
So would you say who represents? Who do you think represents like your game in NASCAR?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like, who's a good
That's
kind
that
of
question,
crossover
yeah.
character to you that you've met that you think is kind of close?
I don't know. You know what?
Nobody that tough.
You gotta have you. It's like with the NASCAR thing. I feel like it's a little poker face, because I sit in the drivers' meetings and I sit in, and I'm pretty. Well, I feel like everybody kind of has a little piece of intimacy with the drivers, because everything is so close. Like drivers' meetings, and you go intros and all that, and all the fans are right there on you. The closest thing to that with NFL is like pregame warm up. That's the only time the fans are like close to us, and then we go in the locker room and come back out, and then everybody's in the stands. But closest to me, man, that's tough. That's a tough
We
one.
do the hard hitting
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, that's a hard. That's a hard one.
You have to think about
I'm
that.
gonna think about that one.
But you just brought it up. I was telling Kevin this before, because we've talked about it.
Mhm.
When they're pre-race and they're doing all the interaction with the fans and the sponsors and the pictures, I was telling Kevin that you're like, I'm like locked in from the time.
It's different. Like yesterday, me and Erica were walking to the track. I go in Walgreens real quick to like grab something. I don't know. It's probably like noon. Tyler Reddick's just in there casually. I'm like, Tyler, what are you doing? Like,
What was he doing?
Yeah,
He was just buying?
with his son in Walgreens.
Him and Bo was probably throwing stuff
right.
everywhere.
I'm like, what's up? And he's like, oh, I'm just
Killing
we got
time.
a lot of time. It's calm. He was like, it's a lot calmer. I used to do the racing I was doing before was a lot more, hectic. This is calm for me. I'm like, okay, good luck, bro. And that's my thing. Every time I like talk to, even in driver meetings and like out on the grid and stuff, like when I go up and talk to guys, like everybody's so they're willing to talk. I'm like, yeah, what's up? Da, 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 da. Like talking about me. I'm like, bro, you got to race. I'm like, I'm gonna leave you alone. Bye. Like it seems like I seem like a jerk kind of, because I'm like, no, but it's the competitor in me, and like coming from my sport, everyone knows it's like, man, you got locked in, laser focus. So if somebody sees me, like even pregame, if people have pregame passes and they're on the field and I'm warming up and they happen to get my attention, they know it's like,
Yep.
Wow.
and then
That's
it's over
totally
with.
different
It's
from
different.
us,
Yeah.
because you guys have obligations.
Yeah, you
right
guys
up to
have
the car.
obligations that I'll probably get fined.
Well, I think the biggest difference in our sport is so sponsor driven.
Yeah.
You have to entertain the people and the things that come with the names on the side of your car, right? Like, for their sport, it is a lot different. But I think when you talk about that atmosphere and the things that go with that, what else do you like to do outside of talking about racing? What do you like to do outside of your sport for fun?
For fun, man, I do a lot.
Yeah.
You do?
Travel, fashion, snowboard, golf.
Oh.
You got a couple businesses you're working on.
I'm business ventures. I mean, I'm my mom is African. I'm in Africa a lot, doing a lot of things there. Man, it's a lot. I just kind of I flow. I kind of just flow from left to right and back and forth. If I find something that grabs my attention, I kind of just go for it.
So
go ahead.
We're talking about your love for racing. Have you driven a race car yet? Have you done one of the driving experiences?
Man, I wish we can turn this camera around that way to see Miss Erica Wilkerson. That will not let me get into a car yet.
No,
just put her
so
right on
that's
the
like a
spot.
hard
I
no.
got to every time I haven't. She won't. It's like I bring it up. It's like you talking to your child. Like, Mom, can I go with my friends? It's like she just spins me completely. Like, let's go over your schedule. And I'm like, I just asked a question. I'm trying to get in the car, but I may have an opportunity. I'm not gonna say who's giving me the opportunity to get in the car, but I might have an opportunity.
We could just do a ride along. Like,
no, I don't want to ride along. I need
He
to.
wants to drive.
Even though I don't know how to drive a stick,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on YouTube before that opportunity, and I'm gonna figure it out.
All right, man.
Mama, but me, you talked about
I've
it
done
before.
it.
Yeah, I
You
know,
can
but
do it.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
We can
okay.
find you
Be
something
all
to
right.
drive.
we
That's no problem.
I'm talking
No,
to. I'm
problem.
talking to. I feel like you could probably make
That's
that
no
happen.
problem.
You're talking to someone who
Doesn't
has a
have to
couple
be a
race
car.
cars
Yeah.
and some stuff.
We
so.
can teach a 9-year-old how to use a stick shift. We can teach
That's
you
fine.
We definitely
You
can
put me
teach you
right
how
at.
to use a stick shift.
I perform well under pressure.
What do you have? Do you have any cars?
Yeah, I got some cars.
What's your favorite car?
For nostalgic purposes only, I have a 2004 Mercury Marauder.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I love that car.
Yeah, that was like my favorite car when I was growing up. So that was like my mission to get one. But it's hard because they stopped making them, and then like a lot of them had like the mileage was too high or something wrong with it. But I found one in Albany, New York. That the only thing that was wrong with it had like salt damage from the salt truck. Yeah, so I had to kind of rework the bumpers and the side skirts and all that stuff. But that's probably my favorite car.
What was your first car?
My first car.
That's kind of a famous. That's kind of a famous question that we ask around here. We never know the answer.
I got my first car in college. My second, what was it? 2016. I got a 2009 Chrysler 300C. That was my first car.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Still one of my favorite stories ever was the Michael Irvin story when he talked about his first car and he took his soon-to-be wife out on their first date, and the floor mat had moved, and the hole in the floorboard, her shoe fell out the bottom of the floorboard. They had to turn around and go kick a heel.
She gotta love him for that.
out of the curb.
Yeah,
You'll have that, yeah.
Man, all right. I need to put some respect on my boy's name and what he's been doing in the NFL. 8 seasons with the Saints.
Yeah.
2 all pro second team. You got 2017 offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
6 rushing touchdowns in one game, which was insane. But one of my favorite, and also it hurts me a little bit because he did it against the Patriots. He's at 10,000 plus yards from scrimmage with the Saints, which is insane, bro. That's so congratulations on all that.
Congratulations on all that.
Yeah.
Did you know the Patriots were still playing? I thought they sold the team.
I
thought they sold the team after Brady.
Now that he got all those stats out.
Shout out to Tom, but I don't know what they're doing up there in Foxborough.
They don't either.
Yeah.
We don't talk. He is the one guy I really wanted to go up to New England and watch because Alvin was playing in the Patriots, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't get to go, but I'm watching on TV and I'm excited because he's actually just smacking them. Yeah. But also we're just getting that butt whooped. And it was I had a problem internally on that, but I was proud of him.
So what is the prep? Like during the off season? I mean, I know you go training camp starts and then it stops and then it starts again. What do you do to train outside of what you typically do? Because it's kind of like our sport, I would assume. You're doing a lot of things and trying to help the things that you think you need to maintain, create things that are better. Yeah. It sounds a lot like the sport that we do in the off season. Tell us what you do during the off season.
So, man, my off season is pretty intense. So, but I try to take some time. So right when the season ends, just say, for instance, this year we didn't make playoffs. So our last game was January 7th. From January 7th until about March 15th, middle of March, nothing. Mm-hmm. Just kind of relax. Just go where, like I said, go where the wind takes me. Like if I want to go somewhere, go. Yeah. Like no restrictions, no schedule. Like just kind of on my own. Just kind of decompressing from the season. Let my body come back. Just get back to that equilibrium before I start back training. Because right when the middle of March hits, I'm training from then till now, basically. So we got a report on the 23rd. So I'll probably, maybe the 18th will be my last day or 19th training, right? But from, like I said, from March to now, it's 5 days a week, 4 a.m., 4:30 in the morning, wake up, go straight to workout.
Yeah.
I mean, I start early because I think it's more of a mental thing, right? Physically, I mean, you the physical aspect you can't run away from. Everybody in this sport, you're gonna get hit. You got to hit somebody, but I think the people that last, there's a certain mental toughness that they have, or mental fortitude that they have, that allows them to go out and compete and be consistent day in, day out, week in, week out, season in, season out. So that's what creates longevity, and that's why I've been able to do it so long. So going back to that 4 a.m. thing, I think I don't have to work out at 4 a.m., but there's a certain mental fortitude that I get from saying, all right, I'm up right now. Nobody's up. I'm
out working.
Yeah, I'm out working everyone. Like I every day for me is like 2 days. By the time I reach Friday, it's like I feel like I had a 10-day week, right? Yep. But 4:30 workout, and then probably get done around 6:30. Go home. My chef, shout out to Tatiana Icardi. She's down in Miami. My chef, she's there. I feel like she's grinding, training with me, because she's there from the morning till night, all my meals. So eat breakfast, kind of shower, chill a little bit. By 9, I'm at my next session. 9 to about like 12 noon, grinding. And then I try to do it like that because I want to have the rest of my day to kind of do whatever else I got to do.
Right.
Erica's calling me, trying to put together my NASCAR schedule. Mom calling me, whatever else I got to do. I leave the rest of the day for that. But that's Monday through Friday for.
We need to have you come speak to a lot of our young drivers, and it's probably the same way in the NFL because the window's short, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't put everything that you have into it while you've got it, then you don't get the most out of yourself. Because I see so many guys, and we talk about it all the time, come in here, they win one race, or they get to the truck series and they win a race, and all of a sudden it's like, I made it.
You can't breathe.
Yeah. And I always try to explain to those kids, you've made it when you're done. When you announce your retirement, that's when you know you've made it, because you've had a full career and you chose to end when you did. Yeah. And I appreciate that work ethic, because that window is short.
Yeah.
And I hope that is something that you obviously do a good job in spreading that word by setting that example is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, but you speaking on you did it at the highest level, and you've had success that a lot of young drivers, I think, are trying to reach, right? And this is what I tell younger guys all the time in any sport or just in life. If you want anything, you got to be a little sick, kind of like you got to be a little twisted,
a little obsessive.
Yeah, you got to be obsessive.
Absolutely.
You got to be kind of like, it comes across as like, what's wrong with them, right? So that's been my thing from my rookie year. Everybody's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, man, how long? I can't do this forever. So I'm like, I'll miss out on that party, or I'll miss out on that fun or whatever to invest in what I got to do, because I know when this season hits, the only thing that I have that I'll be able to show is what I did to prepare.
Yep.
Right. The preparation is everything. So, I mean, I think that's kind of the key. So it's like, again, just that mental fortitude to be able to say, all right, well, I have this much time to do this. I got to put everything into it so I can get the benefits that I want.
I love that. Incredible work ethic for sure. You're balancing a lot of things between NFL and NASCAR. Mm-hmm. What is something you hope to see with NASCAR in the future? Something that you think the sport should do differently?
I think it's a good segue into, me and Mamba talked about it, about that international series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Brands Hatch this year. It was cool, man. You got to come out with me next year.
Yeah. I think that would be amazing. Because I think there are places that have the NASCAR interest. I was literally just talking to somebody from Germany the other day, and they were interested in what I was doing. They were like, I saw you at a race. Like, what are you doing? I was like, NASCAR. I was like, I'm not sure if you guys have that. They were like, is it F1? I'm like,
welcome to our world, baby.
Yeah, I'm like, there's cars. And then they started watching it and then hit me back, and they were like, oh my God, we should have that. Why don't they have that here? And I'm like, well, kind of working on it. Like, so I mean, I think that would be great for the sport because I mean you just open it up to other markets.
Global, yeah.
You go once you get that international market, it's kind of like the sky's the limit.
Yep, we do have the NASCAR Euro Series that's doing good things. They actually came out to Chicago, so I saw that group. So they're really working hard on that. Yeah. I want to ask you, ownership. Kevin has just made his way back in. He got out, and now he's back in and building his team up. Would you ever be interested in ownership of any kind at any level?
Man, I think I get that question a lot, and I mean with anything, I feel like, especially this interest that I have that I've been kind of involved with for 4 years. There's the competitor in me, the fan in me, and then the I guess employee kind of like the business side of it, where I'm like, okay, this is another thing I can sink my teeth into and kind of get that competitive fix. Still be close to it in the fan way, still be close to it working wise, and then it's just entrepreneurial, right? So, I mean, I think what was it, 2021? I kind of stepped into it. I just dove into it with Ryan Vargas. Yeah, with Ryan Vargas. I sponsored a car. I'm like, I just was interested in seeing what the business side of it was because, I mean, I was going to races and kind of like, okay, hey, Alvin, bye, Alvin. Like, I'm at the race. So I'm checked off Atlanta, checked off Bristol, checked off Daytona. And I'm like, I don't really know what's going on. So I'm like, all right, well, Ryan has a cool story. And I kind of just wanted to get behind somebody that had something like just had a story, had some grit, something that they had to fight through to get to where they are. So I hit up Ryan and his team, and they were open to the idea. And they was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I was like, well, what can I do? Right? So
you tell me.
Yeah, you tell me. So I ended up sponsoring the car. I got the whole car. I had a juice company at the time, and I wrapped it with the juice company. Put my logo on the car. Sadly, Ryan didn't finish the race. I think he had some technical problems, but. It was just cool to step into that business side because I don't know what you guys go through racing throughout the week from Monday till I guess call it Saturday, Sunday. Yep. And I was able to kind of step into that. Monday was phone calls about the wraps and this. I didn't even think that deep. I'm like, obviously the car is wrapped, but I didn't even think that deep into saying like, okay, they got to come up with this scheme. There's people in the factory, like in the race shop that are like, that's their job to do this. Get this frame and wrap it, do all that.
Do you want a fire suit and a helmet?
Exactly.
You want just like, what do we do?
Exactly. So there was so much that went into it, and I was grateful for that opportunity with Ryan because it kind of sparked my interest, right? So to answer your
not a no.
Yes, to answer your question, it's not a no, but it's just I think just the right time and the right opportunity. I probably would be interested because I think there's a lot of room for growth in the sport, and if I could be involved at a larger capacity than I am right now, I'll be interested in it.
Well, we appreciate your involvement in the sport, but I'm gonna go way off the rockers.
Here we go.
I'm gonna switch it way off the rockers. I want to know who you think the best player out of the NFL draft is coming into the season that's going to immediately make an impact this year.
The best player,
like who's the guy that you were like, ooh, that's going to make an impact on that team? Because when we had this show, I mean, Mamba was definitely the third draft pick. So.
Taking strays, bro. In front of my own friends. It's taking strays.
This is very typical.
Well, he gets a lot of grief.
Yeah. He gets a lot of grief.
He started to dish it out. He started to dish it out. They got me today.
Yeah, didn't get him good.
I like the Worthy pick from Texas, receiver for the Chiefs, because he got rare speed. I think he has raw talent. I think he has an opportunity to develop. He got Pat Mahomes up there, Andy Reid, and those guys. You get your hands on. It's like playing with a car with a perfect engine, almost. Yeah,
it's like
I went to rookie camp.
Oh, you did
with the Chiefs this year.
Yes.
Yeah, and
you saw him.
He is so fast.
Yeah, he's fast.
My goodness, it was they bring all the rookies into camp. I think it's 90. Yeah. And so they bring all of them in and start to explain everything that's going on so that the other players, they don't fall over everybody. They know what's going on. Don't hurt somebody. But man,
those rookie camps are interesting because like you went, you quickly see who is different. You see,
and it was he stuck out like a sore thumb.
So I'm interested to see because I think in our sport, they say, oh, well, there's football speed and track speed. He has both.
Yeah.
And I want to see it. And then you got Pat throwing you the ball.
I mean,
like, it's almost unfair, but I don't say that. I don't say it's cheating because I mean, shoot, it's just they pick.
They're good.
Yeah, they pick who they strategically did what they had to do to get them. So I'm interested to see that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Those are the champs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pick on the NFL side.
Mhm.
Before we close it out, who's your pick for a championship in the Cup Series
Oh, man.
for NASCAR? Who you eyeing?
Ooh.
Because we're getting close to postseason time.
some pressure on some of those boys to even have a
There
chance.
is.
Yeah.
This is a pressure pick too, because
Yeah.
you mentioned
Pressure pick.
Denny, but Denny's still looking for that first championship.
Yeah, we
That
keep
was my
saying.
pick.
Was that?
Yeah, remember?
You picked him
that's
at the
right. You
beginning.
picked him
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Y'all, you picked him. You
I
picked
did.
him. at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is the year for Denny, but
We-
I'm
yeah.
not trying to.
Don't let him sway you.
Yeah.
No, it's not gonna sway me.
Yeah.
It's not gonna sway me. I have to get in on my fantasy. I gotta start doing my fantasy lineups.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
that's
tap
gonna
in.
help me kind of gauge what's going on.
Yeah.
But I think Denny's driving well.
It's somebody he doesn't want
It's
to.
not-
It's not even that I don't
Pressure.
want to say it. It's
Yeah.
just
Pick.
now I'm gonna be on record.
Yeah,
saying- I'm gonna be on
we
record
got
saying
him
this
locked
instead of me and you just on the side like me and Mamba.
Well,
Like,
I mean, everybody that Mamba picks wrecks. So.
Dude, I've been
he's-
having
he's
terrible
got a-
days.
he's got a
Notorious
streak
for
going.
bad picks.
Yeah.
so if I
do you
say
say?
Kyle Larson, then it's
Oh,
You're good.
that's
Yeah?
a good
Okay,
one, dude.
but
You
he-
can't go wrong with that.
No,
yeah.
I didn't pick Kyle.
you didn't pick him yesterday
No.
Who'd you pick
For the Chicago?
Championship.
Oh, for the
for
championship?
championship. Who you
Do you
picked?
remember?
No, I don't. But I feel like I went back to back. I feel like I was feeling
Did you
Blaney
make a
back to
champ
back.
pick already?
I don't know if I made a championship
I don't think
pick,
we did.
But
You
I
You
will.
just did.
I will right now. And
You
I
said
will.
Blaney back to back.
Yeah,
So we
but
got that.
because we haven't seen a back-to-back champ in a while, and they just have that grit to grind out and finish in top 10.
I'm going.
So,
William Byron.
you going William Byron in the
I think
24?
so.
William Byron?
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like he could do it. I really
Yeah.
do. I know they're going
Then-
through a little bit of a summer slump. But
Yeah, I think it's so strange, and you see this. You have teams that get on the streak at the right time, and then
Yep.
all of a sudden they blow through the playoffs, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, they're in contention. So that's the unique thing about what we do as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
what
you're
they
saying
say.
Kyle Larson?
Yeah, I
we
say
can put
Kyle.
that on the record.
I say Kyle.
It's
You
pretty
can put
safe.
You can put it on the
Pretty
record.
safe.
That's pretty
Yeah.
Yeah,
safe.
you can put it on the record.
It's a good one to go
That's a
with.
good one.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah,
we
of course.
appreciate
Yeah,
everything
man.
you do
Thanks
for
for
the
having me.
sport and
Thank
for
you,
taking
thank you.
some time for us today.
Thank
so
you. Thank you.
we look
Appreciate
forward
it.
to seeing you at future races. All right, everyone, continue to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Also, rate us 5 stars and leave a review, and we'll see you next time.